I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything political. I just told you
actually
that
the
I'm from
entire
Israel.
conversation we had was
we were talking
political.
about Afghanistan.
Yeah,
we
no,
were
but that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
Israel.
We're talking about everything that is politics, even aside from Israel. But for me, Israel isn't politics. There's a genocide going on.
If there's not a
And
genocide, but if
and
there
see,
was,
that's exactly. It would be different if you said something like, "Yes, there is a genocide. I don't support what the Israeli government is doing." Yeah, I would have, slide by, but you don't. You just said there's no genocide. Get out of my office. Get out of my
I'm
business.
gonna leave, but I will be contacting somebody to get my deposit.
Go ahead. Go ahead. See ya.
So what you just watched is a woman whose name is Fatana Karimi. She is a brown owner in Virginia. She just kicked out Zionist out of her shop for supporting the genocide of Palestinians in Israel and also pretending that the genocide isn't even going on. But before we go into what happened there's a little bit of backstory I want to get to. But if you want to hear the entire story sans my commentary, you can watch it. I'm going to have the full video linked in the description below. Please watch it after watch my video. Don't just click off, but watch my commentary and then watch her video. But yeah, so the Zionist, she walked in Fatana's shop and she initially began discussing Afghanistan. And she began talking about how she wrote a story about a Muslim man and a Jewish man joined the U.S. Army together and becoming friends. And initially, Fatana, she was enjoying the story, saying, yeah, it's very good, it's very nice. And all except the Israel part, because she doesn't support Israel in their genocide. And initially, the Zionists ignored it, but she began continually talking about Israel. And she started talking about how Israeli men have emotion, while the difference between Israeli men and Muslim men is how Israeli men have emotion and they're not afraid to show their emotions, while Muslim men, they pretty much show no emotion. That sounds a lot like what white people said about black people. Black people don't feel pain, black people don't have emotion, while white people do. That's why we're inhuman. So she's dehumanizing Muslims. So this, of course, pissed Fatana off. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but she is an Afghani woman. So this pissed Fatana off, and she responded by saying this.
She starts talking about Afghanistan again, and I'm just a yes man. I'm like, yeah, ooh, that's very cool, whatever. And then she goes, and you know what I find really interesting that's different between Israeli men and Afghan men? I'm thinking, like, what the hell is this woman gonna say? Like, okay, sure, tickle me. Like, what do you better say? She goes, Israeli men, it's interesting because Afghan men, they like to not show their emotions. They're a lot more like keeping a strong face and a strong front, whereas Israeli men, they like wear their emotions on their sleeve and they're not afraid to cry and they're not afraid to show their emotions. They don't mind looking silly. Microaggression much? Passive aggressive much? Like, okay, so I was like, whatever. She wants to compare Israeli and Afghan men. I can compare an Israeli and Afghan man because this is my studio, this is my business, and if you want to talk about this non-stop, we can talk about this. So I said, I think the difference between an Israeli man and an Afghan man is that an Afghan man was raised in Afghanistan and he's from Afghanistan, and then an Israeli man, he's either from Brooklyn or Miami or Eastern Europe, or his dad is or his grandpa is, and that's kind of where it stops because Israel was born like yesterday. Is that not true?
And then the Zionist bitch had the nerve to say this is racism.
And she immediately gets offended. She goes, is it because of my ethnicity? And I was like, no, it's not because of your ethnicity. It's because of the fact that you won't stop talking about politics. And the politics that, one, I don't agree with. There's a genocide going on, and I don't agree with that, and I don't respect that. She immediately goes off to say that this is racism.
I'm so damn tired of white people pretending that they're being discriminated against, that they're experiencing racism or reverse racism. So the white lady, she is experiencing racism somehow by the brown lady who the US, Israel bombed the shit out of all the time. She's the one who's not experiencing racism, but the white lady somehow is. That's what always seemed to happen. These racists somehow always find a way to become the victim. Israel has been committing a genocide for way longer than October 8th. They've been doing so for decades. The whole Zionist project was Manifest Destiny 2.0, wipe out all Muslims in Palestine to take control of their land, but then eventually expand to Jordan, expand to Egypt, expand to take Lebanon, take part of Syria, I believe also Iraq and Afghanistan. Like pretty much the Greater Israel Project is to span the entire Middle East to become a world power. That's their goal.
This is the Greater Israel according to the Israelis. It is include 100% of Palestine, 100% of Jordan, 100% of Lebanon, 100% of Kuwait, 75% of Syria, 45% of Iraq, 40% of Saudi Arabia, 35% of Egypt. This is going to, and part of Turkey too.
But I have another video explaining that, so you can subscribe if you want to see that. But she's somehow the victim. That's what always happens. Somehow, it's always the perpetrator, the offender is somehow always a victim. You even see this when it comes to people who are murderers or rapists or the worst people in society. They somehow always find a way to victimize themselves. And that's exactly what the woman is doing here. And then she goes on to play the victim more. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't talk about politics, when the entire conversation was political.
Okay, I didn't do anything wrong.
No, there's nothing wrong. I kindly asked you to. You just kept saying Israel. You're talking about politics.
But you should give me, no, not at all. I thought we were having a great conversation about Afghanistan, like a culture that I actually admire.
Beautiful.
And then she goes on to say, I can't believe I'm being kicked out because my ethnicity. You're kicking me out because of my ethnicity. She said it like 3 different times, like saying, oh, because I am my ethnicity, because I am an Israeli, you're discriminating against me. No, that's not what happened.
I had no idea that you would
When
do
you
this based on
say
my
things
ethnicity.
like,
you were doing this based
and then
on
you're
my
defending
ethnicity.
it.
I had no idea that my ethnicity, I didn't speak politics at all about.
And Fatana, she eventually responds by saying, this isn't about politics, this is about Israel committing genocide. And the Zionist, of course, responds dismissively, Israel isn't committing genocide.
But for me, Israel isn't politics. There's a genocide going on.
If there's not a genocide, but
every human rights organization on earth, including some Jewish human rights organization, has already acknowledged that Israel is committing genocide. But these Zionists, they want to pretend it's not happening because they understand how bad it looks. They understand that the world has turned against them. But they keep denying it because they can't just flat out say it, because they know what the implications are if they were to say that. So then eventually she just kicked out of office, say, get out of my office. You said that this genocide isn't happening, get out. I'm not serving you. Peace. Dip. Be gone.
For me, Israel isn't politics. There's a genocide going on.
If there's not a genocide, but
that's exactly. It would be different if you said something like, yes, there is a genocide. I don't support what the Israeli government is doing. Yeah, I would have, slide by, but you don't. You just said there's no genocide. Get out of my office.
I'm gonna leave, but I will be contacting somebody to get my deposit.
Go ahead. See ya.
That's exactly what that's what needs to happen to every single person who supports this genocide, because it's absolutely evil, absolutely disgusting, and it's unacceptable to support Israel while they're doing this genocide, to support Zionism at all. Supporting Zionism is no different than supporting a white supremacist state, supporting the South during the Confederacy. It's no different. And this is how every single Zionist should be treated. They shouldn't be allowed in polite society. They should be shunned everywhere they go, because they need to understand that this isn't okay, and the world needs to completely shun them, turn their back on them, and they need to be treated no differently than how the Germans were treated post-World War II, because they are a pariah terrorist state. They are the largest purveyor of terrorism on earth. Not Iran, Israel. So please support her name on Instagram, I believe, is Karimi Browse, and if it's not, I'm going to link her Instagram as well as her TikTok in the video link below. And yeah, this is what needs to happen to all Zionists. And then also, I saw a clip by a TikTok handle called Jewish News, where they're saying that she gets kicked out of the Salon for being from Israel. So they always find a way to lie and play the victim, because that's just what they do. Commit genocide while they're somehow still the victim. So please support Fatana Karimi, her Instagram and her TikTok will be linked below. And if you want to watch the full video, sans my commentary, is also will be in the description below. So thank you for watching, and that's it. Peace.
Well, I've been stacking up. Nah, really, that ain't accurate, cause I just spent my whole damn advance in the past couple months just to compensate for times we ain't have enough. Ooh.